take a look at my life. In my mind I see forests with brown chipmunks dash, but through my eyes all I see are rats in the trash. Take a look at my life. Where me and my friends are supposed to be thugs, and I see a good friend losing the battle with drugs. Take a look at my life.
Take a look at the life of 17-year-old Jamel Oeser-Sweat. You won't find many like it. Jamel was just 3 years old when his father died of cancer, leaving the family destitute. In 1988, Jamel, his mother, and his 2 younger brothers moved into the Prince George Hotel, the most notorious of New York's welfare hotels.
This evening, as Channel 4 was trying to take pictures of the Prince George,
more than 1,900 people, most of them children, were warehoused in squalor.
So that was a pretty horrendous example of a homeless hotel.
Yeah, it was like, I called it the all-star team of inner-city neighborhood.
All-star when it came to drug dealing, inside and outside the Prince George.
It was everywhere. It's kind of like it always is.
There was a lot to sidetrack Jamel, but what little good there was at the Prince George, he found it. Volunteers tried to help, but they never stayed for long.
She encourages us to fulfill our goals.
I will do my best, do my duty, my God and my country.
When he joined the hotel Boy Scout troop, his mother was there.
I don't know, but can't you see? The best damn troop is 103!
In 1989, the Prince George was closed down. This year, Jamel went back to remember what it was like to live there.
It was survival. I didn't think about the future. It was kind of like I lived life day to day. It made me take the best of every situation because I know there's a lot worse.
Jamel, his mother and brothers lived in one room, 10 feet by 15 feet.
There's a view of the Empire State Building, you know, and people say, oh my God, that's probably the best thing in New York if you have a view of something like this. But look where we're viewing it from.
5 years ago, Jamel and his family escaped the Prince George. After years on the public housing waiting list, they moved into Baruch houses. That's a considerable step up. But within months, Jamel's mother, Jean, had to be hospitalized for chronic mental illness. Jamel ended up in a group home. His brothers were placed in foster care.
Was there ever a harder time for you in your life?
It was kind of like at that point I started to realize like anything in life can be taken away.
Jamel reflects on that time
no matter how bad
in his poetry.
I remember Mama and the good things she did with the body of an adult but the soul of a kid. Most of all, I remember Mama on that dreadful day as she was forced to the ground as they took her away. I remember Mama, my frightened thoughts then. Was I ever to see my mother again? I remember Mama. For the first couple of nights, I just cried. I didn't understand what was going on. I was either going to let it get me or I was going to get it. I basically thought about things. I mapped out how I was going to get my life together. And
this was a turning point in Jamel's life. It would be more than a year before his family was reunited. In his mother's absence, Jamel created his own network of mentors and surrogate parents. For the first time in his life, Jamel began to go to school regularly. At age 13, it became a safe haven and the one constant in his life.
If you don't have an education, there's really nothing you can do. It's like knowledge is the most important thing you can have because like no matter how powerful someone is, it's the one thing they can't take away from you. Jamel personifies a child. Why do you say that? Because the buds come up and it's the same. It's not that I was a late bloomer, I just never went. It was not about late, it was just I was never asked to bloom.
And when he finally was asked to bloom, he excelled.
There's accretions of organisms here, Jamel. Look at this. These actual accretions.
Let me look.
2 years ago, as part of a school assignment, Jamel was sent to Mount Sinai Medical Center to work with Dr. Edward Batone.
What's so fun about the lab is we have a special lab. Things go right here.
Very quickly, Dr. Batone discovered Jamel's gifts and became more than his mentor in the lab.
I think he has that drive that's quiet, it's understated, but absolutely focused. And he knew that if he didn't succeed, then no one in his family would succeed.
Dr. Baton means a lot in that he has a similar background as far as he grew up in East Harlem. You know, his schooling was kind of like mine. Sometimes he has the same sassy comments I do. Now we have a mystery on our hands. Where the heck did she pick this organism up?
Last February, inspired by Dr. Baton to develop his own scientific abilities, Jamel was in Washington, D.C., competing with 39 other finalists in the Westinghouse Science Talent Search.
That's exactly what we want. All right, now this
Jamel's project found that loofah sponges, used in bathing, can harbor bacteria that cause skin lesions. Surrounded by the best of the best, Jamel met President Clinton.
What did he say that made such an impression on you?
He said, hang in there.
Is it true, Jamel, that you straightened his tie?
Yeah. I didn't think it was a big deal. He's a guy and his tie was crooked. Everyone caught it and forget him.
From New York City, Jamel Oeser-Sweat.
Jamel placed 10th, winning a $10,000 scholarship.
If anybody would ever told me I'd have a son as smart as Jamel, I wouldn't believe him.
No one is more pleasantly surprised by Jamel's success than his mother, who still struggles with her own health problems but takes care of her boys.
Jamel used to be a very mischievous child, and as he grew, he kind of learned how to control his actions and his mouth and made something of himself. I'm proud of that.
Do you think, Jamel, that living in this kind of an environment may in some weird way have helped you because every time you had a little achievement, you knew how far you had come?
I think that's the case, and I think more than that, it built, you know what, it's kind of like, there is no way I can forget where I came from.
And it is because of that Jamel can see the promise in these kids in East Harlem, where he tutors.
But is that the answer?
No.
Does track sound better than?
Yeah.
Why? I would never take back anything I've been through because that makes me me. If I can help another kid, I will.
Edwin, what are the clues? Let's make a list of all the clues in that paragraph.
Cynthia Smith and Jamel have worked with these kids 3 times a week for the past 3 years.
He's always there to listen to them, and I think he feels a connection, because I think probably as a child that's what he wanted so much, and I think he wants children to believe that they can do things, and that they're not bound to being stuck here.
You think too many inner city kids have given up on the American dream?
I know, what dream do we really have in this film? Look at what we see every day. It's like our role models have to be athletes.
Well, do you think your success will help other youngsters to see?
I think it will. It's like that's my biggest thing. Success is success, and not only am I doing stuff, I'm carrying everyone with me. It's kind of like what happens is everyone else is looked at in a new light, and that's what it's all about, I think, as far as I go, because it's like I'm here for a reason. Come here, let me school you.
Jamel hopes his greatest influence will be with his brothers Eric and Christopher.
I can't be losing.
Is that the most important thing that you can do in life, is to make sure that you set the right example for Eric?
I think that's an important thing as far as I don't want to set the wrong and some terrible thing, because if I'm setting at least half the right example, I have no legs if I don't, because why would I say you have to do this, you have to graduate if I don't get a diploma?
While Jamel's life has never been easy, he has been lucky. There have always been people there for him, people like student advisor Mike Memmott.
There was just something about him that I noticed that was different than other students. He was talented, he was intelligent, there was a real sensitivity about him that I kind of liked, and I zeroed in on him.
Oeser-Sweat.
How do you do that?
Today, with the world open up to him, Jamel is always on the move.
I can't sit still all the time. There's too much to do in so little time.
This is Second Avenue.
Because of his hectic schedule, Jamel often doesn't reach home until midnight.
Do I worry about him? Every day. It's a tough world out there. As much as he's overcome it, there's so much more that he's going to come up against.
And every night he must make his way through the dangerous streets surrounding the housing project where he lives. He's come a long way, but Jamel still is vulnerable, something he knows all too well.
The bullets are flying, drugs are easy to sell. If this is heaven, I'd hate to see hell. Take a look at my life. Where dreams are lost and good things die, and there's no such thing as apple pie. Take a look at my life.